Okay, so here's test prep for chapter 2. This is test 2, covers lessons 1, 2, and 3, so all of chapter 2. There are 44 questions and 3, extra credit questions. So section 1 is problems 1 through 10, and it's dealing with definite and indefinite articles. So remember that definite articles, I'm definitely talking about the marker. In Spanish, we say the, el, or la. Masculine, feminine. Indefinite articles are a or an. In Spanish, it's un or una. Masculine, feminine. Okay? So the directions for... Sorry, it was my esposo. Okay, so masculine, feminine, masculine, feminine. The directions are going to say, write the Spanish definite or indefinite article as indicated by the word in parentheses and that matches the noun in gender. Okay? So it's going to look something like this. You're going to have a noun. You're going to have a word. We want to say the cat. So if we want to say the, our options are el or la. This word is masculine or feminine. It ends in an O, which means that it's masculine. That means that we're going to use L because we have the masculine. We want the masculine article to go with this. There are no super tricky words on here. Most of them should be pretty obvious. Remember, words that end in an A are generally feminine. Words that end in O, generally masculine. For the test, if a word ends in O, it's masculine. If it ends in an A, it's feminine. The only thing that I think that you guys might get tripped up on are words that end in E or consonants. Okay? Remember that if a word ends in sion, D, those are feminine. Okay? If a word ends in a, let's see, an E or a Z, sometimes words are masculine and sometimes they're feminine. So there are some words that end in E or Z. There's some words that end in me, so you need to know if it ends in D or sion, it's feminine. The only way that you're going to know these, I took words right from your homework, okay? So be sure that when you're studying for this that you go over your homework again, all right? So if you had a word, like especially from your activity manual, hint, hint, okay? So, yeah, so I took words right from your homework assignments for those. If you had something like I wanted to say senora, so like a married lady. We want to say a, so we have to come up here. It's an indefinite article, so we get to choose from un or una. Senora is feminine, so we have to use una. Okay? So that's how you do part 1. Okay. Part 2. 11 through 15. This is basically translation without actually being translation. It says, write the Spanish possessive pronouns as indicated by the word in parentheses. So it's just translation. So our pronouns are, remember that our possessive means that someone is possessing or showing possession of something. So it's like my, your, his, her, our, y'all's. So my is me, yours is to, his, her is Sue, and I don't think that your book talked about this yet. but there's nothing on the test that's on this side. It's just these three. But remember that su can mean your as well. It means his, her, or yours. But the difference between these two is that this one is informal and this one is a formal. So if on the test you have something that says your and then formal, that's going to be su. And if you have something that says your informal, that's going to be tu. Okay? So then part 3 is 16 to 20. Okay, this is write the following phrases in Spanish to indicate possession, relationship, or category. Okay, so that's like saying Mia's class, or Jason's aunt, or the textbook, or the English class, that kind of thing. So if we're talking about relationship, so you're going to have a phrase. Remember that all three of those things, possession, relationship, or category, are indicated with the preposition de. Okay? So if we had, like I said, Mia's class. Remember, there is no apostrophe in Spanish. So we have to totally change around the words and add a de, okay? So we actually say the class of Mia. So class is feminine, so we say la clase de Mia. Okay? If we said Jason's grandpa. What is the word for grandpa? Abuelo. So we say el abuelo de Jason. Or Jason, if you want to, say it with a Spanish accent. You need to have the definite article. You can't just say clase de Mia or abuelo de Jason. You have to say la clase de Mia or el abuelo de Jason. You guys actually on your homework, I think, did a pretty good job of this, where you got confused or you struggled was the idea of category or identification. So you guys have heard me say this, textbook. Like I'll say, abren sus libros de texto. Sus libros de texto. So that is describing the category of book. Like it's not a fiction book. It's not a children's book. It is a book of text, a school book. So we say el libro de texto. Okay. If we had English class, we have English class. We're telling what kind of class it is, a category of class. We say la clase de inglés. You need to know that la clase or clase is feminine, okay? Hint, hint. Clase is feminine. Okay. So that's section 3. All right, so just relationship and possession, I think you guys are going to be fine. It's this kind of identification that I think might trip you up. So just be sure that you're studying this in your book. Go back and read that section about possession with the preposition de. Part 4 is only 21 to 23. This is going to be answering questions, okay? It says, answer the following questions in Spanish according to the pictures. These are yes or no questions, which means the first thing you have to do is say sí or no. Okay? If it's a yes question, you just say yes. If it's no, you have to say no, and then you have to repeat the no, remember? So you have to answer these in a complete sentence. So you can't just say yes or no. Let me give you an example. It says, answer the following questions in Spanish according to the pictures. So it'll say something, let's see, it'll have something like, it'll say, es un himnario. Is it a hymnal? Es un himnario. Is it a hymnal? Sure looks like it to me. It's a book and it's got some music notes. So we'll say yes. So to say yes, we say sí. But we can't just say sí. We have to say yes, it is a hymnal. So we say sí es un himnario. Okay? Himnario. If I had something like, and I said, es una pluma. Okay. Una pluma, I think your book might use bolígrafo, but I think I told you pluma and bolígrafo both mean pen, so whichever one you want to use is fine with me. But is this a pen? No, it's a book. Okay, so we have to first answer the question. So first we have to say no. Then we have to say it's not a pen. And how do you make a negative sentence? You put a no in front of the verb. So in this case, we're going to answer the question. We're going to say no. And then we're going to say it isn't. So we're going to say no es una pluma. Okay? Is not. No, it is not a pen. We have a train behind our house, so it gets kind of noisy in here sometimes. But hear me say this again, okay? You have to answer in a complete sentence. If you just say sí or you just say no, it's going to be wrong, okay? You have to say sí es un himnario or no, no es una pluma, all right? So there's 3 questions. You have to look at the pictures and just answer the questions, all right? 5 and 6. 5 and 6 are translating for vocabulary. So it's basically the same thing as in the first test. So I've given you words or phrases. You have to tell me what they mean. So 5 is 24 to 31. So this is going to be vocab from Spanish to English. All right, so I've given you the Spanish words and you have to translate them to English. Now, here's the catch. On the first test, I did not take off points if you did not translate the article. This test, I am taking off points if you do not translate the article correctly. For example, if I had something like, if I said un himnario, and you said the hymnal. First, when I saw that, I would make this face. And then I would mark it out. Okay? Because un, remember, it means a or an. It does not mean the. They're not interchangeable. Okay? So, this is automatically minus half. All right? It has to be a hymnal. All right? Not that complicated. For 6 is 32 through 37. Now, I'm going to give you the English word, and then you are going to have to give it to me in Spanish. For this one, you don't have to include the article. I did not include the article. I just said something like bedroom. Bedroom. Okay? So, what is the word for bedroom? Dormitorio. Okay? Because there's no article here, I didn't say the bedroom or I didn't say a bedroom, you don't have to include the article here. Because I included it up here, you have to include it up here. Does that make sense? Okay? All right. So, there you go. This is only the vocabulary on this. This part is only vocabulary from chapter 2. Okay? The rest of the test might have vocabulary from chapter 1 and 2, but this section right here is just vocabulary from chapter 2. The last section is section 7, and it is translations. Okay, like full sentence translations. So, part 7, translations. Uh, 38 to 44. Okay. This is going to deal with everything we talked about in chapter 2. A lot of it is the verb tener. A lot of it is the verb tener. So you need to know how to translate I have, you have, formal, informal, he has, she has, okay? So if we look at our verb conjugation for tener, to have, okay? We have yo, tengo, tú, tienes, él, ella, usted, tiene. I think we left those off for now. Remember that both of these can mean you have, but if on the test it says you have, and then it's like in parentheses it says informal, you have to use tienes, because remember, to is informal. If you have, and then in parentheses it says formal, it's asking for tiene, because usted is formal. Excuse me. I think I'm getting sick. So, if I said, what am I? Oh, the directions actually say translate the following sentences to Spanish, include the subject pronoun. I think we talked about that sometimes, depending on like what you're saying, you can leave out the subject pronoun because it's understood. So like I have, you theoretically could just say tengo because this means I have, but on the test it says include the subject pronoun. That means if one of your sentences says I have, you have to say yo tengo. You have to prove to me that you know what the subject pronoun for I is, okay? So you can't just say tengo, you have to say yo tengo, right? Okie dokie. Do you remember how we asked a question with a tag question? So that was like we made a statement and then we added a tag question at the end. We said, you have, you, informal, have the book, right? You have the book, right? So this was a tag question because this right here is a statement. You have the book. But then we're like, right? Okay. So we want to say you informal. We have to include the subject pronoun. So you informal is tú. So tú have. Tú tienes the book. If I say un libro, I'm just going to throw your test on the ground and walk away and be done grading. I'm just going to be done. Not really. But we can't say un libro because we want to say the book. Please be so careful. This is so critical. Okay, this is like one of my pet peeves. I have lots of them, but this is one of them. Okay, do not get these confused. We want to say the book. We got to say el libro. Okay, and then our tag question is either no. Look what I did. I made a mistake. Tú tienes. See, if we were really in class, you guys would have caught that. I'm sure you caught that and you just couldn't say anything because this is a video. So it's got to be tú tienes el libro. No. Or what was the other one? We had verdad. Okay. So either one is fine for this case. Okay. If I were gonna say, let's see, is it a pencil? We would say es. Is es un, and the word for pencil is lápiz. Es un lápiz. Okay. ¿Qué más? If we had a negative sentence and we said it is not a desk. It's not a desk. We would say no es un pupitre or escritorio. Okay, remember to make an nt or a negative statement, we just put a no in front of the verb. Okay. Some of this is going to have to deal with more possession. You're going to have to translate possession, something like he has Paul's car. Okay, so él tiene el carro de Pablo. You don't really have to translate names. Okay, I never ask you to do that. ¿Qué más? You might have something like you don't have the science class, and you'll have to know how to say la clase de ciencia. All right. So that is your translation stuff. I think that's it. The last thing is the extra credit stuff questions. There's 3 extra credit questions. Those came from let's see, the beginning. So like this page right here, I don't know what the page number is, but the first page of chapter 2. Where else? The cultural notes. So it's like the cultural notes. This one. Apellidos, last names. And el colegio, nota corporal. Okay, so basically the title page of the chapter and then the nota corporales, I took the extra credit questions from those. So if you have questions, please do not hesitate to email me. I would be happy to try my best to answer them. Your tests are due on Monday. They must be sealed in an envelope or sealed in some way and signed by a parent or guardian. And that's it. So yeah, if you have questions, feel free to email me and I will try to get back to you as soon as possible.